Have you been struggling to win in solo queue? Are you looking for operators that can help you at that task? Well, you've come to the right place, because if you start playing the operators I mentioned in this video, I guarantee you'll start winning more rounds. So here is my list of the top 10 best operators for solo queue in year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege. I hope you all enjoy the video. Coming in at the 10th spot, we have our first attacker, and that is going to be Flores. Flores was in my previous solo queue video, but I still think my points in that video hold true today. Flores' explosive drones allows him to destroy a ton of defender utility on his own, a minimum of 4 pieces of utility if you play him right. This allows you to be an absolute powerhouse for your team, and his drones will help you a lot in solo queue because a lot of the time your teammates aren't using their utility. Also, another benefit of Flores' drones is that they can allow him to open soft surfaces if necessary. Now, obviously, his Flores drones aren't the best for this, but if you do need to open a soft wall in a pinch, or you need to get a hatch open or something like that, and your teammates don't have any utility to help you get it open, you can use your Flores drones to get the job done. This, combined with the fact that he has flashbangs for helping him make plays and for burning ADSs, just makes him a really versatile operator, which is why I'm putting him on this list. However, the fact that he is so heavily countered by Mute, one of the most picked operators in the game right now, does hurt his placement on this list, which is why I didn't put him any higher. Anyways, moving past Flores, coming in at the number 9 spot, we have an operator that a lot of you will be surprised by, and that is Warden. But trust me, it'll make sense if you hear me out. When playing solo queue, a lot of the time you want to position yourself on the front lines in an important power position because of the fact that you can't really rely on your teammates. And Warden's gadget is absolutely perfect for this. The reason why his gadget is so strong for this is because his glasses allow him to be completely invulnerable to flashbangs, and it allows him to see through smoke grenades. You're gonna get flashbanged a lot, and having Warden's glasses on hand is really useful for that because a lot of the times your teammates won't be helping you by picking Jaeger or Wamai. This, combined with the fact that Warden has access to a deployable shield to allow him to hold down these power positions, makes him even better. And he has access to the shotgun SMG-12 combo for setting up the bomb site, and this combo makes him even stronger for holding those power positions because it makes him super lethal in close range. All this combines to make Warden, in my opinion, one of the best operators for holding down a specific part of the map. And since in solo queue you're likely going to be doing that a lot, I think Warden is a really solid choice. I think he's extremely underrated, and if you start using him in your solo queue matches, I think you'll start realizing that. Anyways, coming in at the 8th spot, we have another attacker, that being Iana. Iana is going on this list for a lot of obvious reasons. First of all, her gadget gives you access to infinite drones, which is extremely important in solo queue because you can't rely on your teammates to give you intel. So being able to just, at a click of a button, give yourself an additional drone to drone out an area of the map is extremely useful. This, along with her having access to the G36C and the ARX assault rifle as her primary weapons, makes her a really solid entry fragging operator. But that isn't all Iana can do. She also comes equipped with a Gon 6 and flashbangs or smoke grenades as her secondary gadgets, which can allow her to deal with defender utility and potentially cover a plant. All of this combines to make Iana a very versatile operator, which is what you want in solo queue. And since her weapons are really strong, allowing you to pick up a lot of frags, I do think she's worthy of coming in at the 8th spot on this list. Now, moving past Iana, we have Smoke coming in at the 7th spot. Smoke finds himself at this position on this list for the same reason that Warden found himself on this list, and that is because Smoke is an absolute powerhouse for holding down a power position. Smoke's toxic babes allows him to slow down the attackers and force him to be mindful of his position, which allows him to alleviate some of the pressure and potentially last longer on a position than other operators would be able to. This, combined with the fact that he has the M590 and the SMG-11, 2 extremely powerful close range weapons, once again makes him an absolute demon in close range, similar to Warden. Then him having access to barbed wire, which is extremely useful and rare nowadays on defenders, adds on to the utility he brings to his team. However, the only downside of Smoke is that he no longer has access to that deployable shield. So if the power position you plan on holding requires a shield, you're gonna have to rely on your teammates to bring that, which in solo queue obviously is a big deal. But I think his gadget and his overall kit makes up for the fact that he doesn't have a deployable shield, so I still think he's worthy of the 7th spot. Now, moving past Smoke, we have Twitch coming in at the 6th spot. This is an operator that I didn't originally consider for the solo queue list, but after playing her a lot more, I do think she's worthy of coming in at the 6th spot here. The reason for this is because she has access to 4 drones in total, which allows her to get a lot of intel similar to Iana, but 2 of those drones is her shock drones, which can allow her to clear utility off the defense. This allows Twitch to help her team get a wall open by clearing bandit batteries off of it, or to clear cage charges off of a hatch, and she can also be useful for dealing with things like Jaeger ADSs or mirror windows as well. Then on top of that, in her loadout, she has the 417 DMR and the F2 assault rifle as her 2 primary options, which are 2 extremely strong weapons. The 417 DMR is objectively the best DMR in the game, game. And then the F2 assault rifle, while it does have a lot of recoil and it can be difficult to control, it's still a really good option if you can manage to control that recoil. Then on top of it all, she has access to smoke grenades as well, which is useful for the reasons I've already stated throughout this video, like covering a plant. And so with all of that in mind, I think you'll understand why I put Twitch on this list. Now moving past Twitch, in the 6th spot, we have Wamai coming in at the 5th spot. Wamai was an operator that was on my previous solo queue list as well, and I think a lot of you agreed with me. The reason why Wamai is so strong in solo queue is because of the fact that his gadget denies projectiles from the enemy team, which when you're holding a power position, which is what you're predominantly doing in solo queue on defense, but it can help you a ton because it can deny enemy nades, it can deny capital crossbow bolts, and it can deny pretty much any other projectile that you can think of. Also, since Wamai gets his magnets slowly throughout the round, he's one of the perfect operators for putting on a power position, because once he dies in the position he's holding, his magnets are no longer useful. So putting him in a position like rafters on Clubhouse or other strong power positions on other maps is a smart play. This, combined with him having access to the MP5K and the AUG assault rifle as his primary options, makes him have some really strong fragging capability. Then he also has access to impact grenades to help his team set up the bomb site, and he has the Karatos pistol, which can help him make head holes and footholes. With all of this in his kit, I don't think it's hard for you to see why he's on this list instead of Jaeger. Now coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Jackal. Now Jackal's on this list for a couple of obvious reasons. First of all, his gadget is extremely strong for applying pressure onto the defense while also allowing him to be a pretty strong roam clearer. Also, another benefit of his goggles is the fact that they allow him to face check a room. All Jackal has to do is turn on his goggles, walk into a room, and if he doesn't see footprints, there's a high likelihood that there's not going to be a defender in that room. This allows him later in the round when he's out of drones to still be able to gather some intel. Then on top of that, he has access to the C70 assault rifle and the PDW SMG as his primary options, and then the ITA-12S shotgun as his strongest secondary, which both of his primary weapons are really strong for taking gunfights. And then the ITA-12S shotgun is really good for helping him open soft surfaces to the point where he can even potentially play vertically in a pinch. This overall just makes him an extremely versatile operator, and that's why I'm putting him so high on this list. Now coming in at the number 3 spot, we have an operator that most of you will not be surprised by, and that is Azami. The reason why Azami is so high on this list is because her Kibas are extremely useful for holding a power position and for burning the attacker's utility. When the attackers walk into a room and see a ton of Azami Kibas, obviously it's going to make their push a lot harder, because not only can you use the Kibas to give yourself multiple positions inside of a room to play safely on, but they can also be used reactionarily to close off potential lines of sight that the attackers make for themselves. On top of this, she has access to the ACS-12 shotgun and the VSN SMG as her 2 primary options, which are both extremely strong. I'd probably recommend the ACS-12 just because of the fact that it allows you to set up the bomb site in solo queue, which when you have randoms that you can't really rely on, being able to make a rotate and make the footholes and the head holes inside of the bomb site is definitely going to be something you're going to want to consider. But you can get away with running the VSN if you know that your teammates are reliable for making rotates. And if you decide to run the VSN, you still have access to the Desert Eagle, which can still allow you to make makeshift footholes and head holes. Then on top of everything I just mentioned, she also has access to barbed wire, which is extremely strong for the reasons I mentioned on smoke. There isn't many operators with barbed wire left in the game, and barbed wire is an extremely important tool for slowing down the attackers. Anyways, now moving past Azami, we now have Buck coming in at the number 2 spot. And this is another operator that I don't think any of you will be surprised by. Buck is arguably the most versatile operator in the game on the attack. His underbarrel shotgun can function as a weapon, it can allow him to play vertically from above or below the bomb site, and it can allow him to open barricades or walls really quickly, allowing him to potentially pick up some free frags. This, along with him having access to the C8 assault rifle, one of the strongest ARs in the game, makes him a really strong fragging operator. Also, to add on to his kit, he has access to the G.Skill secondary and flashbangs or hard breach charges, depending on which one you like to bring. Obviously, this gives him some real versatility because flashbangs can allow him to burn ADSs and also get aggressive on the defenders. The G.Skill allows him to potentially deal with some form of hard utility that the defenders may bring, and then hard breach charges allow him to potentially open a hatch or something while he's playing vertically on the bomb site. And a common misconception with Buck is that he has to be used for vertical play, but he doesn't really have to be. He's just really strong for opening soft surfaces in general, and being able to do that super effectively with Buck can apply a lot of pressure onto the defense, whether you're playing vertically or not. And so while he may not be able to gather as much intel as other operators in this video like Jackal, Iana, or Twitch, he makes up for that in the fact that he's extremely versatile and his gadget is extremely useful in a solo queue scenario. Now coming in at the number 1 spot, we have the strongest defender in the game right now, Legion. Legion is an extremely strong operator for solo queue, and he always has been. The reason for this is because his traps can provide you with a ton of intel, which in solo queue is really hard to come by. If you're playing on one side of the map, you can stack a ton of goo mines around the area you're playing to provide you with audio intel of where the attackers are pushing from. This makes it pretty hard for the attackers to catch you off guard, and it allows you to make up for the fact that a lot of the time in solo queue, your teammates aren't going to be on cams. Also, he has the added benefit of having an amazing kit on the table as well. He has access to the T5 SMG, which is probably the strongest SMG on the defense because of the fact that it has low recoil, solid damage, and a pretty good fire rate as well. And then he has access to the Super Shorty as a secondary option, which can allow him to make head holes or foot holes on the bomb site, which, as I mentioned multiple times throughout this video, is extremely important in solo queue since you can't rely on teammates. With all of this combined in one single operator, he's probably the single best solo queue operator you can bring to the table. Anytime I play solo queue, I pretty much auto lock Legion almost every round because he supports me on my roam or whatever position I'm playing, and he also still provides a ton of utility to his team. Anyways, that about wraps up today's video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this list in the comments down below. Also, if you have some other operators you would like to see on this list, make sure to leave those in the comments down below as well. If you enjoyed today's video, I make Siege content just like this twice a week, so go subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter if you don't want to miss the next upload. Also, I just recently started a second channel where I upload non-Siege content, so if that's something you're interested in, I'll leave a link in the description so you can go check it out. If you want to watch another video just like this one of be popping up on your screen right now, then I'm sure you'll all enjoy. Also, if you want to watch a video from that second channel I mentioned, a video from that channel will be popping up on your screen right now as well. I'll see you next time, friends, and peace.